The cry in the ice, the wind screamed across the frozen planet. Sharp ice crystals danced in the air like tiny knives. Everything was covered in white. There were no trees, no animals, no warmth. Only silence, cold, and death in the middle of this. Frozen land, a small cave hid between two broken rocks. Inside, a mother held her baby close to her chest. Her skin was blue and soft, glowing gently under the pale light. She was not human. She was from a different world. A different kind. Her baby was sick, very sick. The cold was too much, and there was no more power in the heater she carried. She wrapped the child tighter, hoping her body heat would help, but it was not working. Tears froze on her cheeks. Her lips trembled as she sang. It was a lullaby from her home, soft and full of love. Her voice was weak, but the song still floated in the air. Nyelera, Nyelera. Sleep, my star child, sleep. The words were old, older than memory. It was the last thing she could give, a final song before goodbye. Suddenly, the wind outside changed. The mother stopped singing and listened. There was a sound, crunching. Snow, slow footsteps. She pulled her baby close and held her breath. The cave was dark, but she saw a shadow. A tall figure was walking toward her, covered in thick clothing, a mask over his face. A strange light blinked on his shoulder. The figure knelt down in front of her. He did not speak. He looked at the baby. Then at the mother hissed softly, showing fear. "Stay back," she whispered. "He is mine." But the figure didn't move closer. Instead, it reached into a bag and pulled out a small glowing box. He pressed it gently near the baby's chest. The box made a soft hum, and a warm light spread out. The baby moved, just a little, then coughed. The mother's eyes filled with shock, then hope. She looked at the stranger. "Who are you?" she asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he looked into her eyes and, softly, he hummed the next line of the lullaby. "Sleep, my light, sleep through the storm." It was perfect. The tune, the words, the voice, he knew it. The mother froze. Her mind could not understand. "How do you know that song?" she asked again. This time, the man slowly removed his helmet. Underneath was a human face. Rough, tired, and full of sorrow. "My name is Elias," he said, "and I heard your voice." The mother did not understand. Elias looked at the baby. Again, then back at her. "I followed a signal," he said, "from space, from long ago. The song, ... It was part of the signal, the first one Earth ever received." She stared at him, still in shock. "That song is from my people," she whispered. "No humans know it." "I do," Elias replied. "I've known it all my life, even before I came here, outside." The wind screamed louder. A sharp beep came from Elias's wrist device. He looked at it and frowned. "They're coming," he said quietly. "Who?" the mother asked. "The ones who did this to your world," Elias said. "I saw the wreckage." They were hunting someone. He pulled out a metal disc and threw it on the ground. A dome of orange light grew around them, warm and safe. "You and the baby will live," he said, "but only if we move." The mother looked down at her child, who now breathed a little easier. She looked at Elias. Then at the howling snow outside. She nodded. "Then let's go," she said. Elias wrapped the baby in a heat cloth. He helped the mother to her feet. The snowstorm roared outside, but inside the dome, the warmth gave them strength as they stepped out of the cave. The mother asked one more time, "Why did you answer my lullaby?" Elias looked at the stars above. "Because it was never just your lullaby," he said. "It was a call, and I answered." The strangers fired. The snow hit their faces like frozen knives. The wind roared like a wild animal, but inside the orange heat dome, the world was quiet and warm. Elias walked in front, Holding the glowing scanner in one hand, the alien mother followed closely. Carrying her baby tight against her chest, the baby was still weak, but alive. The warm cloth Elias had given her kept the cold away from his tiny body. They moved through the frozen valley, stepping over cracked ice and buried machines everywhere. Around them were signs of war, burned metal, broken ships, empty helmets buried under snow. This place had seen death. Too much of it. Elias stopped near a large ice wall. He pressed a button on his wrist. A thin blue line appeared, forming a door. The wall melted away, revealing a hidden cave. "Go inside," Elias said. The mother hesitated, but then walked in. The cave was dark at first. Then lights came on from the ceiling. Soft, white lights. Not from her world. They were human. Inside the cave was a small base, a heater in the corner. A bed, a water tank, and boxes of supplies. It was simple, but safe. The temperature was warm. And the air was clean. Elias placed his scanner on the table. It beeped and showed a red dot moving on the screen. "They're still tracking us," he said. "We have about 15 minutes." The mother sat on the bed and unwrapped her baby. He moved his tiny fingers and made a small sound. She smiled, tears in her eyes. "He will live," Elias said. "But not out there. He needs more heat and medical care. I can help." She looked up at him. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. "Your people are not mine." Elias sat down slowly, his face calm but tired. "My name is Elias Reed," he said. "I was born on Earth, but I was raised on your Lullaby." She frowned. Not understanding, Elias pointed at a small device hanging from his neck. It played a soft tone, a short melody. The same lullaby she had sung decades ago. A signal came from the stars. He explained, it reached Earth, weak and full of static. But one part was clear. A song. My father was a scientist. He studied alien signals. He played this melody every night. To him, it was the voice of someone lost. Someone calling for help. And I grew up listening. To it, the mother touched the baby's cheek and whispered, "That song is older than my people. It is sung only during the final hour." "It is a song of goodbye." Elias nodded. "I know," he said. "That's why I came here, 'cause I couldn't forget it." The scanner beeped again, louder now. Elias stood up and grabbed a small device from his belt. "We need to move again," he said. "They're closing in. Who are they?" The mother asked. "The ones hunting us." Elise's face turned hard. "Machines," he said. "Hunters. Your world tried to fight them, but they were too many. Now they search for the last survivors." The mother stood up and held her baby close. "We are few," she said, "and we are tired, but we are not gone yet." Elias gave her a small weapon, something easy to use. She looked at it, surprised. "I don't kill," she said. "Then use it to protect." Elias replied. He tapped the wall, and another path opened. This one led down, deeper, into the mountain. "There's an old research lab underground," he said. "We can hide there." They moved quickly. The heat dome following them, behind them. The snow began to shake. Heavy machines were coming. Their red lights glowing through the storm. As they ran through the tunnel, the baby cried. The sound echoed through the walls. Elias stopped and pressed a button on his belt. The sound disappeared, blocked by a sound shield. "You're prepared," the mother said. "I had to be," Elias answered. "I didn't know what I'd find." When they reached the bottom of the tunnel, a large metal door blocked their way. Elias scanned his hand, and the door opened with a hiss. Warm air rushed out, and lights turned on. Inside was a human lab, dusty but full of working machines. Screens lit up, showing maps, signals, and energy levels. "This place was used by Earth scientists years ago," Elias said. "Then they abandoned it." He helped her sit, then connected the baby to a small medical pod. Lights turned green. and the baby's heartbeat grew stronger. The mother watched in silence, then whispered, "You saved him." Elias looked at her and said softly, "No, you saved him. I only answered your voice." The cave of secrets, the lights in the old lab, flickered softly. Machines hummed quietly, filling the silence with a gentle rhythm. The mother sat near her baby, who now rested inside the glowing pod. His tiny chest moved up and down, steady, and Elias checked the scanners again. The red dots that had followed them were gone for now. "We're safe," he said, "at least for a little while." The mother looked around the strange room. Everything here was human. The screens, the writing, the machines, yet somehow it felt familiar. "What is this place?" she asked. Elias walked to a large screen and wiped the dust away. "This is a listening post," he said. "It was built long ago, when humans first started exploring deep space." He pointed at the center of the room. There, under a glass case, was a glowing sphere. "It picked up your signal," Elias said. "Your song." The mother stepped closer, her eyes wide. "That is not just a song," she whispered. "It is a memory code. A message from my people." Elias looked surprised. "A message?" he asked. "I always thought it was just music." The mother touched the glass. "In our culture, songs are used to carry stories, warnings, and hope. This one is very old. It was sent into space when we knew the machines were coming." Elias's eyes narrowed. "So someone wanted us to find it," he said. "Yes." She nodded. "My ancestors hoped someone would listen." She turned to him and asked, "How did your people understand it? How did you know the words?" Elias sat down and took a breath. "We didn't," he said. "The signal was broken, full of noise. But my father, he played it over and over. He said there was something inside it, something alive." He smiled sadly. He used to hum the tune when he cooked, even when no one else believed him. He believed there was meaning in that sound. The mother sat across from him. "Then you came looking," she said. Elias nodded. "I left Earth to find the source. Most people thought I was crazy. But I couldn't forget the song." The baby made a soft sound from the pod. Both of them turned to look. He was sleeping peacefully. The warmth and care were working. "He is the last of his kind." The mother said softly, "My people are gone, scattered or dead." Elias looked at her, his voice gentle. "Then we must protect him, whatever it takes." The lights flickered again. This time, something new appeared on the wall. Symbols, alien symbols, glowing in soft blue. The mother stood quickly. These are from the archives," she said. "They are part of the old knowledge." She touched one of the symbols. The screen changed, showing a star map. A path of light moving through the galaxy. At the end of the path was a pulsing point of blue. "What is that?" Elias asked. The mother's voice trembled. "The Heart Library," she said. "A place where all our knowledge was stored, but it was locked long ago." "Why locked?" Elias asked. "To keep it safe from the machines," she replied. "And to make sure only the right hands could open it." The star map shifted again. Now showing a genetic code, the lines danced and twisted. The mother stepped back in shock. "That code," she whispered. "That is my child's." Elias's heart raced. "Your baby is the key?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "Yes, he carries the blood of the last singers. The code in his DNA can unlock the Heart Library." Suddenly, the ground shook. A deep rumble echoed through the cave. Elias ran to the scanner. Red dots. "We're moving again, faster now. They found us," he said. "They're drilling through the ice." The mother held her child tightly. "We have to go," she said. "But we can't leave this map behind." Elias grabbed a small cube from his bag and pressed it against the screen. The map and data flowed into it, saved and secured. "Got it," he said. "Let's move." They ran to the back of the lab, where a narrow tunnel led deeper into the mountain. It was dark and cold again, but they didn't stop. Behind them, the walls began to crack. The machines were coming, and they would not stop as they ran. The mother looked at Elias and asked, "If we find this library, will Earth help us?" Elias looked straight ahead. "I don't know," he said, "but I will." She nodded, holding her baby closer. "Then that is enough." And they ran into the darkness, chased by death, guided by a song. Holding on to hope, burned skies the tunnel was cold and narrow. Their footsteps echoed through the stone as they moved deeper underground. Behind them, the lab shook again. The machines were tearing through the ice. And time was running out. Elias held the glowing cube in his hand. Inside, it was the star map, the key to something far greater beside him. The alien mother carried her baby close. The child was calm, warm inside the heat trap, but danger was chasing them faster than ever after a long climb down. The tunnel opened into a wide chamber. Strange glowing roots hung from the ceiling. The air was warmer, filled with soft green light. "This place is old," the mother whispered. "It was made by my ancestors before the war." Elias looked around, his eyes wide. The walls were covered in carvings, alien writing, and symbols. Some of them glowed when they walked past. It was like the room was watching them. "What is this place?" Elias asked. The mother gently placed the baby on a soft nest of moss. "This is a memory room," she said. "Our history was placed here before the sky burned." Elias walked to the wall and touched one of the symbols. The room shimmered, then lit up with a bright flash. A tall hologram appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed a great city in the clouds. Towers floated in the air. People with glowing skin walked peacefully. Children laughed. Gardens bloomed on every level. It was beautiful. "This was your home?" Elias asked. The mother nodded, her eyes filled with tears. "Yes," she said. "This was before the machines came." The image changed. Now the sky was dark. Ships filled the air, but they were not hers. They were sharp, fast, and cold machines. Built for war, they came from the void, she said, silent, without warning. The hologram showed towers falling, fire in the sky, and people running. Screams echoed through the chamber as if the room remembered it all. "We fought with everything we had," the mother said, "but they never stopped. They took our cities, our air, our light." Elias watched in silence. The machines had no faces, no voices. Only red eyes and metal arms. They hunted, captured, and erased. The hologram showed a group of survivors running to a large ship. A mother, a baby, and a small group of elders. They escaped. Elias said, "Yes." The mother replied, "One of them was my grandmother." The image faded, and the room became quiet again. Elias turned to her and asked, "But why your baby? What makes him the key?" She looked at the sleeping child and smiled. "My people changed long ago," she said. Each new child carried more than just life. They carried knowledge, memories, voices of those before. Elias nodded slowly, like living data. He said, "Yes," she replied, "but only a few had the full key. My child is one of them." Suddenly, a loud bang echoed from the tunnel. The machines had found the old lab. And they were getting closer. "We have to go," Elias said, but the mother stood still. "There is something else," she said. "The library will not open unless the song is complete." Elias frowned, "But I sang it to you." He said, "You did." She nodded, but only half. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small, glowing crystal. She placed it in the center of the room. A soft tone filled the chamber. Not the lullaby, but the rest of it, the final verse. The song played gently, sad but full of hope. The roots above them pulsed with light. The wall behind them shifted, revealing a hidden staircase. "There," Elias said, "that's the way to the surface." The mother picked up her child, who was now awake and blinking. Elias led the way, climbing up the steps 2 at a time. Outside, the storm had passed, but the sky was still red. They stepped out onto a snowy hill. In the distance, broken ships lay scattered across the white land. The clouds above were filled with smoke and dust. It looked like the sky had burned. Elias lifted his scanner and pointed it to the east. "There's a small landing zone about 6 kilometers away," he said. "If we can reach it, I can. Call my shuttle." The mother looked at the wide land ahead. "No cover," she said. "They'll see us." Elias pulled out a silver device and placed it on the ground. A small drone floated up, spreading a shield of light above them. "It won't hide us forever," he said, "but it'll give us time." They began walking again. Snow crunched under their boots. The baby looked up at the sky and laughed softly. A strange sound in such a broken world. Elias smiled and said, "That sound? Right there. That's why I came." The mother looked at him. "Do you still believe Earth will help?" she asked. "I have to," Elias said, "because if we don't try, then the machines win." She nodded, her eyes full of fire. "Then we walk," she said, "together and under the burned skies. The last child of a forgotten world." And the man who answered her lullaby walked toward the stars 1 step at a time. The last song's meaning the frozen wind blew softly over the white hills. Elias walked quickly, his boots sinking into the snow. Beside him, the alien mother followed, carrying her baby close to her chest. The child was quiet, but awake, his small eyes blinking as he looked at the sky. They were only 2 kilometers from the landing zone now. Elias checked his scanner again. "No machines nearby," he said. "But they're never far." The mother didn't answer. Her eyes were focused ahead. She knew this peace wouldn't last. There was always silence before danger. As they walked, they reached a line of broken stones, old ruins buried under the snow. The mother stopped suddenly. "This place," she said, "it was once a temple." Elias looked around. To him, it was just rubble. But to her, it was something more. She knelt beside one of the stones and brushed away the snow. Underneath was a strange symbol, glowing faintly in blue. "This was the Temple of Voice," she said, "a place where the full song was first sung." Elias walked closer. "You mean the lullaby?" She nodded slowly. It was not always a lullaby. It was a code, a message, a path. Elias touched the symbol. It pulsed with light, and suddenly, up, the snow-covered ruins came alive. Small lights floated up from the stones. They circled the mother and the baby, humming softly the last verse. She whispered, "It must be sung here. Only then will the path open." Elias looked confused. "We already have the map," he said, holding up the glowing cube. "We know where to go." But the mother shook her head. "The map shows the way," she said, "but the key, the real key, is in the song itself." She looked down at her child. "His DNA holds the final piece, but the song must unlock it." Elias stepped back. "Then sing it," he said. Before the machines come, the mother closed her eyes and began to hum the same melody Elias had heard since he was a child. But this time it was full, complete. The final verse rose into the air like light. The baby joined in, not with words, but with a soft glowing from his skin. His heartbeat matched the rhythm of the song. The ground beneath them shifted, the ruins shook, and then a circle of light appeared in the snow. A platform rose slowly, covered in silver and glowing with energy. At the center, a crystal floated in the air, spinning slowly. "This is it," the mother said. "The entrance to the Heart Library." Elias stepped forward, staring at the platform. "It's beautiful," he whispered suddenly. His scanner beeped sharply. He looked down, and his face turned pale. "Multiple signals," he said. "They found us." Far in the distance, shapes were moving fast, metal, sharp and deadly. The machines were coming. And they were bringing fire. "We don't have time," Elias said, pulling out his weapon. "Go to the platform. Open it." The mother stepped into the circle with her baby. She placed him gently near the crystal. The light around them grew stronger. Wrapping around the child like a shield, the crystal reacted to the baby's presence. It spun faster, brighter. Then a voice echoed across the snow knot from the mother. Not from Elias, but from the platform itself. "Genetic code confirmed," the voice said. "Final verse received." Heart library initializing. Elias turned to face the machines. Now climbing over the hills, he raised his weapon and said, "I'll hold them off." "No," the mother said, stepping beside him. "I will fight too, but your child," Elias began. "He is safe now," she said firmly. "He is more than my child. He is the hope of two worlds." The first machine fired a shot. Elias rolled to the side and fired back. The snow exploded in fire and sparks. The mother moved like lightning, striking one machine with a blast of blue energy. She was not just a mother, she was a warrior. Behind them, the crystal began to open. A doorway appeared in the air, shining bright and golden. The child floated slowly toward it, still wrapped in light. Inside the doorway were glowing books, floating memories, and shapes of stars. The machines kept coming. But Elias and the mother stood their ground. Each second bought more time for the doorway to stay open. Elias shouted over the fire, "Is it working?" "Yes," she called back. "He's inside, and the library is awake." The machines were almost on top of them. Too many, too fast. Then suddenly, a pulse of light burst from the platform. It knocked every machine back, shutting them down. In one flash, silence returned, broken only by the soft hum of the crystal. Elias fell to his knees, breathing hard. The mother ran to the platform, looking for her baby. But he was gone inside the light, safe and glowing. She smiled through her tears. "He's not alone anymore," she said, "and neither are we." The battlefield was quiet now. Broken machines lay scattered across the snow, their red lights fading into black. The air was filled with smoke, glowing crystals, and the echo of the song that had saved them. Elias stood with his hands on his knees, breathing hard. His jacket was torn. One arm burned, but he was still alive. The alien mother knelt near the platform, her hands on the crystal that now held the baby's light. He was inside the heart library, floating in peace. Protected by energy not even the machines could touch. "We did it," Elias said softly. "For now," she replied, without turning her head. "But this is not the end." The doorway to the heart library was still open. Through it, they could see shapes, moving stars, glowing memory spheres, and tall columns of light. It was not just a place of knowledge, it was alive. A voice echoed from the portal. Soft but strong, Elias read. It said, "You have unlocked the path. You must now choose." Elias stepped back in shock. "The library. It knows my name." The mother stood, her eyes wide. "It sees who you are," she said. "Your mind is marked by the song. You are always part of this." The voice continued. "Human and alien minds must merge to protect the child, to protect the future." Elias looked at the glowing doorway. "What does it mean?" he asked. "Merge how?" The mother placed a hand on his chest. "It means your memories, your knowledge, your heart will become one with ours. You will guide the child from within." Elias took a step back. "You mean I have to go in? I have to stay in there?" "Yes," she said, her voice shaking, "but it is not death. You will live through the child, through the library." Elias looked at the broken machines. He looked at the sky, the frozen hills, and then at the baby glowing softly inside the crystal. He had come here to find the song, to answer a call no one else believed in. Now the song was asking for more. "What if I say no?" he asked. The voice replied, "Then the library will close. The child will sleep, but never wake. The knowledge will fade." Elias clenched his fists. "I never wanted to be a hero," he said. "I just wanted to understand." The mother stepped closer. "And you did?" she said. "More than anyone. You heard a forgotten voice, and you came. Now you have the power to keep it alive." Tears filled Elias's eyes. He had dreamed of space as a child. Now he was being asked to become part of it forever. He looked at her and asked, "What about you? What happens to you after I go in?" She smiled sadly. "I will return to my people," she said. "Find the others still hiding in the ice. We will rise again. And my child will lead us with your heart guiding his." Elias walked slowly toward the doorway. The light grew warmer, not cold like the snow. It felt like home. He looked back one last time. "Promise me something," he said. "Promise me you'll sing him the song." The mother nodded, tears in her eyes. "Every day," she said, "until he sings it on his own." Elias stepped into the light. It wrapped around him gently. Like the arms of a mother. He felt no pain, only peace. His thoughts stretched out. He saw stars, cities, rivers of memory, and laughter from two worlds. His body faded, but his mind stayed. A voice echoed from within the library. Now his voice too. "I am Elias. I am the answer. I am the fire that heard the song." The doorway closed slowly, sealing the crystal and the child inside the golden chamber. The storm above cleared, and sunlight broke through the clouds. The mother stood alone in the snow, but she didn't feel alone. She looked at the crystal and whispered, "You are safe now, and you are never alone." She turned and began to walk, each step soft in the snow behind her. The library glowed quietly under the ice. Far away, other signals blinked in the dark, other survivors, other stars, other songs, and one child, carrying the soul of two worlds, was ready to wake. The flame of two worlds' years passed. The snow still covered the hills. The sky still burned at sunset, but something had changed beneath the surface. Deep below the ice, the Heart Library glowed softly. It was alive. Inside it, the child slept, safely in a crystal cocoon, warm, protected, and dreaming. And he was not alone in his dreams. A voice spoke gently, a human voice, full of love, kindness, and courage. "I'm with you," it said. Always the child grew, not just in body, but in knowledge. He learned from thousands of voices, from his mother's people, from Earth, and from Elias. He learned about war and peace, fear and hope. He learned what it meant to lose, and what it meant to fight. On the surface, the alien mother searched the lands. She found more survivors cold, hungry, but still alive. She brought them together, taught them how to heal, told them the story of the man who answered her lullaby. They listened with open hearts, and for the first time in many years, they sang soft songs that rose into the sky like sparks from a flame. One day, the crystal inside the library cracked open. The boy stepped out, not a baby anymore, but a child with bright eyes and a glowing heart, half alien, half human, and something more. He walked through the golden halls of memory. He saw the past, and he saw the stars. He heard Elias's voice. Inside his mind, "We are one now," the voice said. "You carry the flame of two worlds." The child stepped onto the platform. The door opened above, and for the first time, sunlight touched his skin. On the surface, the survivors gathered. The mother stood at the front, waiting when she saw him rise from the light. She dropped to her knees. Her child had returned. She ran to him and held him tight, and he whispered in her ear, "I remember everything." That night, they lit fires across the land. Not for warmth, but for hope. People came from hidden caves and broken ships. They followed the light. The child spoke to them, not with loud words, but with calm truth. "We were broken," he said, "but we are not lost." He shared the knowledge of the library. He showed them new machines, clean, peaceful, full of life. He helped them grow food again, rebuild homes, and bring back light to the dark. He also sent a message into space. A signal full of voices, human and alien. Together, it said, "We are here. We remember. We welcome." On Earth, years later, the message was received. People gathered to listen. Scientists cried. Soldiers smiled, and children clapped. They heard the song, the same lullaby Elias had grown up with. But now, it was complete. A voice came through. "We are the flame of two worlds," it said, "and we are ready." Elias's name was spoken across Earth. His story became legend. But in the library, he was still alive, a guiding mind, a quiet light. The child often spoke to him at night. When the stars were bright and the world was silent, "Do you miss Earth?" he asked once. "I am part of it now," Elias replied, "and part of here." The child smiled and whispered, "Then so am I." He grew into a leader, a builder, a teacher. And people called him many names: Starborn, Flameheart, the songs, Sun, but he never forgot who he truly was. A baby once dying in the cold, saved by a stranger who listened, and who answered not with power, but with kindness. One day, the mother and the child stood on a tall hill. They looked at the stars together. "Do you think Earth will come here one day?" she asked. "Yes," the child said, "and they won't come with war. They'll come with open hands." She nodded, smiling. "You've made him proud," she said. "I hope so." He replied, "I carry him with me." And then, as night fell, the people below sang again, the same song that had started it all. But now, it was not a lullaby of goodbye. It was a song of return. The stars above listened, and somewhere, far beyond time and space, a voice whispered in the wind, "I heard you, and I will always answer."